is day 3 of Rise World Summit 2024. We are having very, very exciting roundtable discussions, workshops. It's been power packed and it's really motivating to see all of the entrepreneurs, policymakers, decision makers on different discussion panels having sometimes even heated discussions over here. And with this, we bring to you another very interesting roundtable where we have invited Circular Enterprises and our partner CEC to talk a little bit about the challenges and the goals and the good prospects of circular businesses. Without further ado, let me just start with asking our participants to introduce themselves so that we can set the context and understand who our entrepreneurs are, who CEC is. And for that, I would request Daniel and Camilla to step in to talk a little bit about the program called CEC.
Thank you, Prisa. Can I share my screen? Is that okay? Yeah, just maybe to set a little bit of context, would quickly like to introduce the Circular Economy Catalyst. My name is Daniel. I work at Adelphi, which is a consultancy slash think tank in Germany. And one of our focus areas is green entrepreneurship and circular economy. And one of our projects within our portfolio is called the Circular Economy Catalyst, which is a project that is supported by the IKEA Foundation and implemented by Adelphi. And just to give you a quick glimpse of what the project is about and also who's part of it, the Circular Economy Catalyst is basically about supporting circular enterprises in Kenya and in India over a time period of 3 years, so from 2022 to 2025. We are targeting also specific sectors, which are, depending on the country, also a little bit different, but generally textiles and handcrafts, housing and infrastructure, electronics and ICT, and water, food, and energy. Over this time period, we will support around 250 enterprises. And our goals and our metrics are essentially to reduce tons of waste through our support, reduce water use, and also, of course, create jobs, indirect jobs. The way we do this is basically through 2 avenues. The first one is direct enterprise support, where we directly work with circular enterprises. We have essentially 2 tracks, which are ideation and acceleration. On the left-hand side, you see the ideation track, which consists of 2 programs, the replicator and the starter, which, as I said, the focus here is very much on incubating fresh ideas. So the target group is rather people who are interested in entrepreneurship and in sustainability and who not necessarily have started a business yet. Then last year we had the Circular Economy Awards, which set the stage for our accelerator support, which is also basically 2 programs, the accelerator and the catalyzer. Within the awards, we selected enterprises that we support through these 2 programs. The winners of the awards are supported through the accelerator and the runners-up through the catalyzer. And these are also, some of these enterprises are present here today, so you will get to know them in a second. But the focus of the accelerator and catalyzer is essentially scaling and helping these enterprises or supporting them in accessing finance. Our approach is a bit broad, so we understand circular economy not just as, for example, waste management, but also take a little bit more of a broader approach, so also looking at circular supply, at product life extension, at service systems, resource recovery, and also sharing models. And then just quickly, the second approach that we take is ecosystem building, which is not as relevant in this context today, but just to give you the full picture, which consists of the training of trainers workshops where we equip local ecosystem stakeholders to basically carry out the implementation and use our methodology. eDobro which organized this event today, also went through these trainings and therefore implements some of the work that we have in India on the ground. Then we also have practitioner labs for circular economy finance, where we work together with financial institutions to explore how financial institutions can better offer financial products to circular economy enterprises. And then we also will have some case studies where we kind of dive deeper into some of the businesses and then give them a platform to kind of share what they do. So this, in a nutshell, is the Circular Economy Catalyst. And yeah, thank you, Idobro, for organizing this event and also for giving our entrepreneurs a platform to exchange. Also, luckily, we also have entrepreneurs from both countries here today, from Kenya and from India. So also a good chance for them to kind of also cross-share across borders what the common challenges are. So yeah, very exciting and looking forward to hearing what you have to share, and maybe give the floor to Camilla quickly to introduce herself.
Thanks, Daniel. And I'll keep it very quick because I know that the value of this session is really around the exchange between entrepreneurs and the kinds of journeys that you've had. So very quickly, my name is Camilla Shim and I'm a manager at Adelphi and I'm the project lead for the Circular Economy Catalyst. I think I'm really excited for this session today because when we've seen the activities that we've been working on in both India and in Kenya, I think a lot of the challenges we're facing globally are very similar. I think some of the solutions can be jointly developed, can be replicated from different contexts to another. And I think we've seen so much innovation in different business models, both in India and in Kenya, that I think it would be really valuable to reflect on that and to discuss that and to also pave ways forward of how these business models can be scaled, replicated, what kind of support is needed. So thank you very much to our partners at Idobro for organizing this session and for all the entrepreneurs here who are giving their time to this discussion. I know your time is very precious. So thank you for that. And I'll keep it short and hand the floor back over to Idobro to continue the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Camilla and Daniel. Daniel for introducing the program and Camilla to just setting the context of the program and your expectations from the session. Let's go around the room. We have some really amazing entrepreneurs and let's hear from them about their work in terms of what products and services they are building in the circular economy space. So Sahar, why don't you get started?
Sure, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm Seher Mansoor, I'm the founder of Bare Necessities, and we make sustainable products that are designed not to land up in our oceans and landfills. We've been kind of, trying at it for the past 7 years. We're powered by a completely woman-run manufacturing and production team that handcrafts all of the products. We are super excited about basically making circular economy products easy and accessible to everyone. And we're always trying to kind of innovate on the formats of products, and really excited to work with other like-minded people on packaging, including people in this panel right here, to kind of evolve and, just kind of push the envelope on innovation to make sure our products are designed not to land up in oceans and landfills. We're based in Bangalore and super excited to be here and excited to hear about all the amazing things that everyone else here is building.
Thank you, Seher. Shilpi, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so hello everyone, and this is Shilpi. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a co-founder of Team Expressions, and I'm an architect based out of Jaipur, Rajasthan. So we are building a construction material that is a new age construction material made out of recycled paper. So it is 100% eco-friendly and made out of paper and also cement boards, and also it's totally customizable solution. That is the need of an hour because now the natural resources are depleting. All of us know it is harming nature a lot. There's a global warming. There are oceans and glaciers are melting. Everything is going haywire. So yes, to address the the construction industry, which is the waste is around 40% of the, like, construction industry is 40% of the contributor of the total waste generated. So yes, we are into the industry to target it and giving a sustainable and eco-friendly solution in the market, which is not only eco-friendly but also modular and prefabricated in nature. So yeah, super excited to be part of this panel, and yes, looking forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Shilpi. Can I invite Elizabeth to share about her organization?
Hello, everybody. Yes, we are Botanic Treasures based in Kenya. We are a health and wellness company that is restoring the environment through off-taking forest products, and that is helping in terms of reducing deforestation by the community. For us, we are very excited because during COVID, the main city of Nairobi was locked all around so that people could not take COVID back to the villages. And so we found ourselves at the periphery, and we were able to, because we were a supplying company, because of the products we have taken, we are able to process them and take them into the city and distribute through the supermarkets. We were able to get a permit to be able to transverse from the city to the countryside. And that's when we went and found a lot of logging was going on because the people in the city were not able to, didn't have an income to be able to send to their families back in the countryside. So we found them cutting trees, and especially the useful trees for making charcoal. So we moved from just working with Moringa oleifera tree, which is I think I see a lot of us here from Indian origin. So here in Kenya, there's a community that call it Saragua, drumstick. So that had always been our base product, and we had developed a range of products from it. But when COVID came, we went and found, they are burning, they're cutting down tamarind trees. They are also, destroying neem trees and making, doing charcoal and timber. So we started off taking those trees and we added them into our range of products. So we do probiotics from the tamarind. We also do juices. So from there, we increased our product range, and we told the community that we would offtake the products, so it's an income for them, and it's sustainable. Then it also give an opportunity to go into the community, introduce them to growing moringa together with local staples. The craze in Kenya is more of maize and beans, and that's what people grow generally, majority of the community. But because of climate change, these people always have very poor yields. So moringa is able to sustain them from after their cash crop is depleted. We are able to offtake the moringa, produce products and pay them. That has also helped with village businesses. We are buying and selling moringa amongst themselves, and we are supplementing that because the mainstream being moringa, we're also able to take the tamarind, we're able to take neem, we're able to take baobab, which is now helping the community to thrive. The community is made of 1,500 farmers who in a irrigation system, but they've never had a main cash crop. French bean farmers, off-takers came, promised to come back. They grew, some even grew chili, but they never got the money. So we've gone into this community, we are making friends. The shock is why a tree, or doing tomatoes or watermelon, which is the norm. So we are also educating them on the importance of moringa in terms of land restoration, in terms of stopping your wind erosion. We also have mountain fires in the same region. So encouraging them to grow moringa, irrigate with the water that the scheme has
Elizabeth, I'm
given
sorry, but your voice is breaking up.
them.
Uh,
They can have the income all year round. Thank you. I can hear.
sorry,
Thank
your voice was breaking up a bit.
I can.
Okay. So,
I hope you got what we are doing at Botanic Treasures.
sure. So thanks, Elizabeth. Let's move on to Khushbu. Khushbu, do you want to come in and share about yourself and the company that you have founded?
Thank you, Teresa, and thank you for the opportunity. My name is Khushbu. I am the co-founder of Go to Good. We're based in Pune, and we basically specialize in making special purpose packaging. So our aim is to try and reduce the use for single-use plastic. We identify ourselves as a material innovation company and an agro-waste management company. So we work with agro-waste sources and natural resources to find solutions for single-use plastics like bubble wrap, laminated paper, toxic inks that are there in the market, and even cling wrap. So these are the few of the materials that we have worked on so far. While we do this to eradicate the problem for single-use plastic, what we also do is we work with environmental hazardous materials like water hyacinth, blue-green algae or lantana, where we try and develop special edition, small scale materials to at least get rid of these waste sources. So, they don't continue impacting our environment. So these are the two main verticals that we like to focus on. And we're hoping that, with our efforts and like everyone's efforts, other than mine on this panel as well, we can actually try and like solve the plastic problem and not have like, hazardous waste go down our water bodies or like in landfills. But yeah, that's about from us. Thank you.
Thanks, Khushbu. Kiran, do you want to come in and give a quick introduction about yourself as well?
Sure. Well, firstly, so thank you very much to Adelphi and Seed for doing this roundtable with us. I think it's a great partnership we've had for many years. So it's really exciting to have them always as a part of the Rise World Summit. And we've done, in fact, some physical tours when we used to do physical events at that point before the pandemic. So really exciting to have you all with us. Even more exciting is obviously to always see the Seed Award winners because I think they are a very special part of the whole Seed program. And also all the programs of the Seed are amazing. And for me, my favorite, as you all know, I keep saying this every time, is the Replicator. But amazing stuff. So thank you, and glad to be working together on this and more, of course. As far as I'm concerned, well, I'm the founder of iDobro and Rise Infinity Foundation. We work with entrepreneurs and they are core to us. And more than just entrepreneurs is what we say, instead of MSME, as everybody talks about, micro, medium, and small enterprises, we talk about WSG, which is Women, Social, and Green Enterprises. Because I think that's the kind of enterprises that's going to change the world, right? That's the kind of enterprises that is going to have the biggest impact on our SDGs. And today happens to be the thematic for today is the SDGs. So I think if we are going to really accelerate the SDGs, the only way is going to be, and we just came off that call just now, roundtable with UNDP, where we spoke about that, and the closing point was social entrepreneurs. So I'm really, really excited and hopeful that we can do a lot more with entrepreneurs and work closer still with Adelphi and Seed to make that happen. So yeah, over to you, Teresa. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for the introduction, and thank you, Kiran, for setting the context as well. Let's start with the first question. I think all of you are working in a space where there is a certain amount of disruption, like the way the world operates right now. So let's talk about how difficult or easy it has been for you to navigate the challenge of introducing a new product to the market. How were you able to get a market buy-in and acquire your first few customers, or maybe more than first few customers? This is an open question. Anybody can come in and share insights from their organization.
I can go
Okay.
first if that's okay.
Okay,
So,
I'll start. Okay, yeah,
sorry, did
please,
I
please
overlap
take it.
someone?
No, no, no. You can carry on. I'll come
Okay.
later.
Okay, thank you. Essentially, being someone who's trying to replace plastic, we have multiple market barriers. So, and it is always a challenge because one, packaging is not your final product. It's just an added layer to the product. That means, it's never a want, it's only a need, which ends up becoming a very functional aspect of your end, product that is getting delivered. So, one of the key challenges that we always face is how to break that barrier and to actually make people realize that there is, of course, functionality to it, but there's also an added experience and an environment responsibility that one has to account for, which from a cost perspective is never accounted for. So to inform or to sort of put this message across to a client is really difficult. So that is one major challenge that we have whenever we're launching a new product, because any question, no matter what work you've done, no matter how much research you've put in, one question is like what is the cost and how different it is from what's available in the market. So price becomes like a very sensitive topic for us. And secondly is the performance. So over the last 7 to 8 decades almost, plastic has taken over pretty much most areas at least when it comes to packaging. So people have this assumption that no other material can perform as good as packaging can. Be it when it comes to bubble wrap or when it comes to paper or when it comes to even your LDP pouches. So to break that notion that there are other materials which can perform, if not better, then at least as good as plastic, is another challenge that we have. So to make people realize that you can trust a new material that has come in this space and it's not going to spoil your product. So these two would be our learnings that we've had for all of these years, that we've been doing the work, and we keep trying our best and trying different methods to sort of overcome them. So sometimes through awareness programs, or sometimes through direct communication methods on various platforms. But yeah, I'm sure other founders also would be facing this problem. So eager to hear what other problems are.
Yeah, so I'll take it forward from Khushbu. And yes, rightly said, change is difficult to make because and it is also the constant because we are, I think, from we all are green entrepreneurs and we are struggling. We are sailing in the same boat. How to convince our customers, because they are ultimately the buyers of our products, and there's a traditional mindset, be it a small plastic pack or be it a construction material. Because in our case, we are targeting a huge market, that is construction industry. So in our case, it is I think everybody's same. I think because I think it's more difficult for us because it's a capital intensive market, and to enter in the market, and since ages it's being used like bricks and stones and all these heavy materials are being used, and now we are using paper. So it's like people are like, what paper are you using in construction? So it's like very difficult for us to enter the market. But yes, it's been 5 years we are in this, and um, still trying to make our place, because we have got awards, in the sense like the people are appreciating the work that we are doing. But in terms of market presence, or in terms of actual products that people want to do, that people are still skeptical to take this product and try out. So there are a lot of awareness that we are making through different workshops, or through universities, contacted with the universities, making young students aware of the product and the positive side of it. How can this paper can challenge the cement concrete actually, and how it is stronger if compared to weight, and weight to strength ratio. Because there's a technique when we make paper, so we are using paper honeycomb that has a lot of strength in it. So yes, there are ways we have to actually dig out the ways how to convince and let people believe in it. So yes, we are, because we believe in the material. I think that's the first step, and we are putting our head and heart into it to make it work. And let's see. But I think it will be done, and that's the future. Maybe it will take time, but yes, it will be done. So yeah, it's from my side. Thank you.
Okay. For us at Botanic Treasures, this is our 10th year, and in doing business and just introducing Kenyans to natural health products. And the challenge before was there was a stigma on embracing, unlike India where you have Ayurveda, in Kenya there was a lot of stigma. So it was a gradual journey where we started by literally going through the trade fairs organized by the government to be able to let people know that this is a natural product. You can grow it, you can cook it as a vegetable, you can dry it and add it to your soups and porridge. So that's where our journey began. And it was embraced because we would do pure products as opposed to blends. So then now people started accepting it. And then when COVID came, the momentum grew. So the acceptance was there, but now so many people are doing Moringa. So now with that, we started moving a notch higher a few years back, where we decided to reduce the entry barriers. We would introduce blended products. So then we started developing. We have teas. We have 7 different types of teas. We even have one specifically for men's prostate health. And then we also started developing porridge flours, which are fortified with moringa. So then we're able to appeal to mothers with young families and they want something healthy. And now we have moved to probiotics. So with the tamarind, which we started off taking during COVID, we have a very tasty tamarind drink. And now we've incorporated a different product now, where we want to do a jam from a seaweed called sea moss, which is also fortified with a probiotic, and it makes it very palate friendly. So for us, we have focused on innovation as a way to keep introducing our customers to new products. And even as we are producing these products, we are looking at the circularity of it, because we ensure that our farm, everything we dry the moringa, we use the twigs to develop animal feeds. We have a pond where we get the community water, and the water has a chicken coop on it, so we are able to get water that is it has like a natural fertilizer from the chicken poop, and then it goes downstream to now the moringa. And also whatever excess twigs, we also mill that and make an animal feed, which we are slowly introducing to the community. So those are a few things we have done to try and maximize on our profits by tapping onto whatever opportunity that we see. It's not easy because globally there is an economic downturn, but we just focus on what we feel can bring an extra income, and we go for it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Feels less alone to hear all of these challenges, because I think there are so many. I think one is awareness. You're creating awareness for new formats of products. Two, since you're trying to do something so different from the mainstream, R&D takes a really long time. Like, we created these bottleless formats of products that essentially you just add the powder and then you add water from your own tap at home. So you're not paying to ship water across the country, and it reduces your carbon dioxide emissions. It obviously reduces your packaging footprint, etc. And it took almost like 2.5 years of R&D to just launch the product. And then alongside, you have to, based on that format, have a circular packaging that's completely in line with those ethos. So for example, we did lots of failed experiments with seaweed packaging, which we thought would be really great, but it changed the viscosity of the formula itself. So then we had to kind of start from scratch so and the amount R&D takes so much longer than you ever anticipate. And with that obviously comes time, money, resources that you need to have the ability to kind of run these experiments. And then I think on the other front is when you're trying to create a circular sustainable brand, and when you are trying to seek investment, I think the investment landscape is still maturing and still understanding about sustainability. So I feel like I have to educate investors around sustainability. They're like, oh, why are your repeat rates so low or something? And, you have to constantly kind of create awareness. That's not just with your consumers, but also with potential investors. And then when you are in the investment ecosystem, people also just compare you to the more traditional alternative and say a plastic packaging is like 30 paisa and maybe a sustainable packaging might be 30 odd rupees. I don't know, just giving you a reference. But it's so hard to communicate why your margins are what they are, etc. So I think the policy ecosystem could also be a little bit more helpful by reducing like taxation slabs. If there was no, GST or VAT on sustainable products, it would at least help the uptake of our products initially, and that could be really useful. So I think lots of challenges, but it's also really fun to try and obviously, forge a new path. And I think what's really encouraging is the amount of people that are creating amazing solutions. I think that's something that gives me a lot of hope. So just like the hope that I see on this panel today.
Thanks, Seher. Daniel, do you want to add something in terms of what you're looking at, trends for market entry with respect to all the circular enterprises that you are coming across?
Yeah, I can happily share a bit. I mean, I'm more probably from an ecosystem perspective, as the entrepreneurs are much more into the details and into the day-to-day business. But maybe since I kind of have a bit of an overview what enterprises report across both countries, can maybe share a bit like from the bird's eye view, I guess. So yeah, what Elizabeth and Sahar have mentioned, that comes up a lot, like the awareness and acceptance of circular products. I think that is also something that we try to push, especially via the second avenue that I mentioned, the ecosystem building, is to create awareness also about pretty much like the business case of circularity. So not just, okay, it's sustainable and it's good for the environment, but actually like why is it or why can it be better for businesses to adapt circularity in their businesses? Why can this also be or could make sense or make sense from an economical perspective? And this is why we also have developed, for example, a CC business model taxonomy where we kind of try to break down, okay, what are the benefits? Why is this important? And we try to then bring this also to the ecosystem stakeholders and explain or try to explain to them why they also should be invested in this. And I think like the challenge that usually comes up the most is access to finance. I mean, this is not something that's just restricted to circular businesses, but generally SMEs. But this is something that we usually hear, that there are not or there are no financial products that are really tailored to green or circular businesses or SME for that. And this is also where we try to get the stakeholders, the financial institutions, to talk amongst each other. Like, are there any alternative ways? Are there any innovative ways where we can like get away from this traditional collateral-based lending ecosystem where SMEs are kind of left out, and especially green and circular businesses that attract more attention and more, I guess, importance. So I think, it's kind of spreading. Like, people are more aware of the topic and they talk about it, but they don't really know what to do about it or how to go about it. So I think that's why it's always also super important to have entrepreneurs themselves like formulate these challenges and discuss them, because as I said, you guys are much more into the details and you know much more about this than I do. So that's why I think this is also a good format to discuss this.
Thanks, Daniel. Let's move on to another question. I mean, we talked about market entry. Let's look backward and talk about the supply chain. I know working with Khushbu and other entrepreneurs in the Catalyzer program that we had this intense discussion about, sourcing material, you need specific quantities, or you are a clean brand, but the suppliers may not be believing in the same principles. So let's talk about all the supply chain challenges or all the hurdles that entrepreneurs face in procuring the material that you really want to build a circular brand. Now, again, an open question, anybody can answer.
Okay, maybe I'll go fast because our products being in the health and wellness, we are in the supermarkets, but we also do bulk supplies to like the mainstream health shop in the city. They have over 50 outlets. So our main challenge has been being able to consistently supply. Before these rains, we had a drought spell, and at the time when we set up our resource center to be able to onboard the farmers, we acquired that farm with a diesel pump, and we were really having a rough time because we have casual workers we work with every week, and we have to pay them on Saturday. So with that, then that means we have to have proper cash flows because we have to pay them every Saturday. And if we are not able to pay, we lose some of the good workers because they are poached by other farms around us. Then we have to ensure, because we had drought for quite a while, we had to ensure that we irrigate regularly so that we can have enough moringa to supply. That also was not easy. And we really struggled for a while, but we found a solution. Our farm is right has a river transversing it. So we followed the river upstream and we went and got an intake. And through gravity, we were able to bring water to the farm through gravity. For us, that was like eureka moment. It was like a celebration to have water just flowing in the farm. So that has helped us to be able to meet our orders. Now the challenge at hand is, yes, we're able to produce, but the soil is also getting depleted. We have now to move into getting more animal, because we are organic and we grow organic. So we have to collect composting materials. We need to engage the pastoralist. It's a pastoralist region and it's semi-arid. So they do a lot of just a few goats, a cow, and some chickens. So we have to buy the manure and then compost it, and then now put it back to increase our yields. So currently, those are the production. Those are the key challenges. Then now goes the front end, which is where that's my strength, and that is the sales part, where now there are so many people online. Remember, we started as an analog business doing expos. You'd go to an exhibition, people have not heard about moringa, you're selling, almost 50,000 Kenya shillings in a day. Suddenly COVID hits, there are no exhibitions anymore, everybody is in their homes. You have a staff that has no idea where to start in terms of social media marketing. you're lost, you have a long story to tell, and you don't know that social media just needs very small and sweet. Yeah, so it's taken us a while to catch on, to even get social media people who know what they are doing, because everybody started by saying, we know, only to hire people, pay them, and realize they have no clue how to do it. You're already 3-4 months into paying somebody a monthly upkeep, and they're not delivering. So it has been an uphill task for us right from the end, because we are doing the whole value chain from the farm to the finished product. But we are soldiering on. We are not giving up. In terms of packaging, we've also realized we can, to complete that whole circular economy aspect, is to, right now we are redoing our labels, and we are asking the customers to return their bottles to the shop, and would give them like a discount margin. So that way we are able to, one, save on the packaging we are buying, because as the economy is becoming steep, also the packaging prices are being adjusted every other time. So we want to actually also introduce circularity into our packaging. Thank you.
So we have one more speaker joining us, Benson. Benson, can you hear us? And can you switch on your camera?
Yes, I can. I'm having a bit of trouble switching on my camera, but I can hear you perfectly.
Great. So, Benson, we would love to know a little bit about your organization, and also what kind of challenges does your organization face with respect to either acquiring customers or in the supply chain?
All right. Thank you so much. So my name is Benson. I am the CEO of Mtaka. I don't know what can be done for me to, I don't know, can you send me another invite, perhaps, if I can try and tune in my video? However, I'll proceed. I am with Mtaka, and Mtaka is in India, and I'm happy to see Elizabeth here on the call as well. So Mtaka it's a tech enterprise running, doing waste management, especially recycling. So we're integrating technology in the sector, and we are looking at the big agenda of material recovery. So ideally, we're in the community trying to shift their behavior. So we're big on driving behavior change and ensuring that people can try and separate their waste source, and also really support the whole agenda of recycling. So it's a daunting task, and you know that the recycling rates in Kenya are very low, 8% at the moment. And if you look at plastics, very high, the millions of plastics, worldwide. So we really at the front of collaborating with both the government sector, the communities, and everybody, even the private sector, to then be able to accelerate this process. So through our app, we allow people to locate agents who are in these communities easily, and we're training women agents. We've had training for over 200 agents, and we're even currently training additional TOTs in collaboration with the US Embassy. So we train these agents, have them next to you, be able to request one agent, and then able to bring all these plastics and other materials to our material recovery facility. So we're doing that together with the county government of Kisumu. So this then allows us to add value to it, increase the price, and then sustain the incentive. So we're able to use an incentive model to get people to do this. In terms of challenges, of course, if you go high up the recycling chain, you know that there's not a lot of plastics that are designed for circularity. So even as we try and do this process, there has to be a lot of conversation. So we've always tried to plug in. Last year, we were part of a circular design conference with KPRO, and just trying to talk to, and just if they're able to shift how they make these products, if they use more recycled plastics in the production, even as we recover this material, are we certain that then it will be a complete process all the way? So there are quite a lot of challenges, especially the community adopting the shift in behavior, and of course also just running a recycling enterprise. We thought that it was easy to really just build and scale, but it takes quite a bit. But I know that it's not the time to have the waste management conversation. It's the time to shift towards circularity. So we're getting more and more partners involved, and I'm happy that through the efforts that we're doing, we're able to successfully integrate technology and even be a part of the Adelphi network. So yeah, that's what I can say for now. Thank you.
Thanks, Benson. Let me ask other participants also to share their supply chain challenges. Seher, Khushbu, Shilpi, do you want to go ahead and share your experiences as well?
Yeah, sure. There have been several supply chain challenges. Um, I think, one is we work with like 100 odd raw materials because we make personal care products that you need from the minute you wake up to the minute you sleep. So each formulation obviously has different storage conditions. Each oil, essential oils, etc., they will lose their fragrance, so it has to be stored in certain conditions. So managing all of the raw materials, reorder points, explaining to your vendors how you want the products, even though you want it with without any plastic, etc. Or explain to them that, hey, we'd like to give back the plastic canisters to you to give back the oils, and we'll cover these expenses. But just also trying to explain to them, articulate to them, but also having them to commit to the process that you want to kind of align your business to circular principles was a little bit of a challenge initially. I will say that we made a lot of progress there, and I think a lot of our vendors are on board and kind of understand this. I think early stages it took a little bit of relationship management and kind of explaining, but now I feel like it's kind of an autopilot, which has been really lovely. I think it's just hard because some of the solutions that you want to work with as well are by themselves also still trying to understand scale. And it might be so much quicker and faster to procure some ready-made solutions that but partners that we work with, since we're trying to obviously make it with more integrity of design in terms of packaging, etc., could take much longer, and maybe there's a little bit more patience required, which is fine for even us from a business perspective. But then kind of managing customers on the other side who are in this era of cancel culture where they didn't get it like they liked it, so leave you a terrible review and comments on social media, etc. So I think while I'm committed to the process of sustainability and figuring out the extra time, extra money that it might take, maybe your external kind of partners are not as patient, and that could be in the form of investors. Why aren't you having enough product launches? It could be in the form of customers who don't understand why it can't be completely perfect in certain regards. So I think that's been a little bit of a learning curve for me. But I think overall, I'm really excited. We have some very, very meaningful partnerships. We source cacao butter from Mason & Co. in Auroville, which is again another woman-run enterprise that, very much in similar in ethos. We work with waste coffee grounds from different cafes all around Bangalore City for a couple of our soaps and scrubs. Other coffee that we need, unused coffee we use from the Western Ghats that's sourced, that is a non-drinking grade of coffee. So, we have worked a lot on each vendor, done a lot of site visits to kind of make things happen. So I think overall, I'm really optimistic and excited. Lavender, that is, French lavender is the most famous and has been used extensively in all products. We get our lavender from Kashmir. It's something that is so less celebrated and hardly used in the kind of the cosmetology industry, and so underutilized. We use this red clove that's called anito. It's grown only in India and in Morocco. So we really kind of champion a lot of ingredients that resonate India and kind of celebrate the subcontinent as we want to. But of course, to make those things happen, there's been a lot of patience that needs to, working with vendors, suppliers, making sure everyone understands that, hey, the timeline, we need to make a batch of soap because it needs to cure for 4 to 6 weeks. And if that does not happen, we cannot service that order. So that order won't be there if we don't get all of the raw materials in time. So I think that's been our little learning.
Sorry, I was in the middle of a sneezing session, so I couldn't like unmute myself earlier. But I think I can resonate a lot with all the challenges that people face over here because, like for us, like traceability is a very important factor, especially since like you have PLA, you have these industrialized biopellets available in the market, and if we don't know where the raw material comes from, or like what all goes in the specific raw material that we would need, it's very difficult for us to sort of guarantee the same to our end clients. So over time we've managed to set in a lot of processes that help us evaluate as to what vendor can come in at which stage, and how do we build that trust over time, because the idea is to keep doing this again and again, because as a vendor, as a supplier, or as the nature of the market changes, the what you are getting supplied might also get changed. So for us to always make sure that okay, the first batch that was supplied to us, the same quality, the same kind of ethos or values is maintained through each and every order. We keep doing these constant checks with our vendors to just make sure that nothing has changed at their end or at our end. So this is more from a traceability point of view. The other issue that we face a lot since we work with agro waste is inconsistent quality, and that's not something that's there in anyone's hand, because it's just the nature of agro waste, where sometimes based on the region that you're sourcing from, or even the weather for that matter, the entire batch can behave extremely different over here. So making sure that how do we and that also for us is a raw material. So how do we account for that in the supply chain was something was of a challenge to us initially, but now we have worked around our processes. We worked around how do we sort of put these in larger buckets and start working for at least a year in advance when it comes to agro waste. So a lot of internal processes like this, where we don't look at the short term, where we're sort of refilling our raw materials or our supplies for 1 month, 2 month, but we look at it in a longer run. So for 6 months are we ready, or for a year are we ready, and then we work backwards. So that has helped us ease out our pressure, and also pressure on our suppliers, because sometimes it's not in their hand, because with natural materials which are not available at scale, and we are bringing in that scalability for them, we have to be more patient with them. So that was a very big learning, because initially we're not accounted for this. So we would just expect an agro waste to pop up the next month, by sending an email or call, and we realize it's not going to work out like this. We'll have to think in a more creative and different way and set up completely different processes. But it's all been fruitful learnings, and it's going good so far. So we're hopeful that these processes will help us give more concrete results, and will help us be more stable more than anything else.
So we have Shubham and Benson joining again. So we are speaking about challenges of supply chain, and if you have to add something about the supply chain, let's do that. And Shubham, whenever you're speaking, please do introduce your organization and yourself. Give a little bit introduction so that the other panelists can get familiar with you.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa, and apologies for the delay. So I'm the CEO and co-founder at Crast. We are into upcycling agricultural waste into sustainable packaging, furniture, and construction products. So just adding on to the discussion on the supply chain challenges, for us, the raw material is agricultural waste. And I was also hearing Khushbu about her views on inconsistency. Khushbu, let me know if you need proper supply of agricultural waste, we can do that. So in our case, the raw material is abundant. There are already good awareness coming up, and a lot of stockists, large farmers especially, have been helping a lot in collection of the stubble. And the challenge lies with small and marginal farmers if we have to cater to that audience, because they are more fragmented. And especially in Madhya Pradesh, where we have our factory, we do not have a lot of large farmers as compared to Punjab and Haryana, where it's more easier for us to source the raw material. So that has been a challenge lately for us, but slowly and steadily we have been building our network of these small and marginal farmers, also onboarding them. And now the advantage that we get is that since we are making highly value-added products, so incentivize, like we have a good bandwidth to incentivize the farmers. So typically they get paid around 1.5 to 2 rupees per kg by biofuel companies or briquette manufacturers, whereas we can pay up to 5 to 6 rupees per kg also. So we have a good range, to play around, and then get, even at a higher price, we can procure the raw material. So that kind of de-risks the raw material procurement for us, and at the same time, it helps to fulfill our goal for social impact, for increasing the farmers' secondary income by selling this waste, so that they don't see it as a waste, but they see it as a wealth. And that's what we have been able to do. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Okay, please continue. I thought it's over.
It's over, but I thought that maybe if somebody would like to go next, they can. Like, if you want to go next, you can start.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Maybe there's some internet issues. There was some time lag. So in our case, yeah, supply chain is we were lucky to have some few manufacturers on board initially, but then and we have in this time frame we have also patented the material, so that give us some security because when we onboard a manufacturer, if you do MOUs and other things also, but then also it's easier because that he's a manufacturer and he can copy the thing, especially in India, if I talk about. So, uh, but now, yes, we have some 3, 4 good manufacturers on board who are working for us and fulfilling our demand as of now. Uh, but yes, looking for more now. Actually, we are sourcing a material that is in abundance. Like we are taking paper honeycomb. Initially, when we started, paper honeycomb is not available readily. But now, over the period of like last 2 years, there are a lot of availability of paper honeycomb in India as well. So we source that the face materials because R is a sandwich panel. There's a core and there's a outside material. So we source that material. Now the challenge in which we have to contract the like we have to do the contract manufacturing is like for the sandwiching of those materials. So now it's I think it's 5 years and we have 3, 4 manufacturers on board and we also understand how it is. So I think now next in line is the keeping the sandwiching facility on our own so that we can have a quality control and things in place for that in matter like delivering the product in time and keeping the quality control. These are two things that we are looking forward. So yeah, sometimes we face some quality issues. So to target that area, we are focusing on that, and so far it's good. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you everyone for those insights. I'm going to jump on to the next question, and it's a little bit tricky one because it makes you really think about who you are as an organization. So, what I'm referring to is when you're an impact first organization, when you're a circular economy business, there is a certain amount of trade off when you are growing at a very faster pace. And there are certain challenges and there are certain difficult decisions that you have to take in. So, I want to open this floor and ask this question about when you are on a growth plan, what kind of trade-offs or what kind of tough decisions have you taken up when it was scalability versus sustainability?
Yeah, so maybe I'll start it over. It's like when we want to scale a sustainable product. First of all, in our, as I explained, acquiring the market was difficult. So scaling at a larger scale because ours is a B2B model. Is still we are trying through various awareness programs. So it's difficult to scale a sustainable business, I would say, especially in our terms, because we are a construction company and it's a capital intensive market. It's really hard to convince our client to use recycled paper in their walls rather than using a cement concrete. So, yes, in terms of scalability, so far, like we are in terms of acquiring the market, we are still struggling, but we are happy that we have scale in terms of the in the minds of the young people, because now they know what the product is, what the material is. There are a lot of colleges we approach, and people are getting young people, of course, are aware, and through these awareness programs, through these workshops, they understand what it is and how we have to go towards these greener options rather than just wasting the material. So I think these programs help a lot. So yes, scalability in terms of business or manufacturing, it's getting a little bit slower for us, but yes, it will take some time to first acquire the market completely and then scale it to a level. But we have the bandwidth, and we are looking forward to have a sandwiching facility, as I told you earlier. So it will be planned. It is planned well. Yeah. So it is like this. Thank you.
Maybe I can go next in the reverse order. So, and it's a very interesting question because as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of aspirations and we want to do a lot of things. And then, of course, comes a situation where we have to do trade-off with what is important for the company to take it forward. In our case, so our team, most of our team members come from research background. They're engineers, material scientists, coming from chemistry backgrounds. And we love innovation. We love making products. And that's why we ended up making multiple products for multiple segments. But what we realized was that we have to hold on and just focus on one thing to take it to the market first, rather than taking and working out on so many products in the R&D pipeline, because R&D can go on. It's exciting, especially for people who are passionate about it. So a tough decision for us was to start limiting our R&D teams, because we have like a definite amount of resources. So either we can look into marketing or production, or we can just continue to do R&D. So that was a decision that we took, and then we shifted that resources more on increasing the productions and more on our business team. And maybe once in the future we are stabilized more financially, we can just carry out as much R&D we want. But yeah, it was a heavy decision because our team loved it. And we have to convince our team members that, okay, guys, we just have to focus. In fact, some of our technical team members are getting into the business domain, which is pretty interesting. And they're also getting a taste of, developing a product in the lab, and they themselves, are contributing and taking it to the market. So that's in our case. Thank you.
I think the way I understood the question was more in terms of the development of the product itself. So from that lens, I feel there's always there's always a barter that has to be made. But the question is how do you not let it affect the values? So like every company that we build is built on like a few core values, which you're not okay to move around, or one doesn't want to compromise on those. So like for us, very early, we were very clear that, the use of synthetic glues, the use of any formaldehyde materials into it, or, the use of any sort of PLA or other kind of resins that you get in the market is something which will always be 100% no. But it's a progressive journey. So for example, we are aware that our paper comes from tree-based sources at the moment, but at the same time, we know that we are solving still a larger problem. So it's still a step towards the right direction, but it's not the ideal step. But in this journey, we're still not using synthetic or harmful or hazardous chemicals, which for us is one of our core values. So these are the kind of offsets, or these are the kind of discussions that we have internally to make sure that where is it okay to compromise, but to still be aware of what one should not use, and to keep working on it, to have the perfect solution out there, but not stop yourself from being market available, because I mean, at the end of the day, we all need to sustain. So if the bread and butter is not going to flow in, we're going to have a very short life in the market out there. So for us, it's always been very material centric, or like, very innovation centric, where the raw materials that come in, they are the heroes of what we do and why we exist. So making sure that everything goes through the green chemistry lens in a way, and then whatever doesn't, we compromise with that. But letting people know about it, letting our audience know about it, letting our clients know about it, and then like taking it from there. So that has been the way where we have like chosen between scalability and innovation, or like, keeping things real, but at the same time being aware about the scenario.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing, Khushbu. I think for Bear, similarly, like I think there are some Northern Star kind of values that are non-negotiable. I think when I first started, we never had sales because I was just like, this is kind of a discounting culture that I don't want to kind of further, this mindset, this consumer mindset around discounts is something I don't want to aid. So and I said, this is the value of a product, this is what you buy, and this is how you're going to, that's kind of the mindset with which we start Bare Necessities. But I realized that maybe then I will never have customers if I don't kind of also work again, in existing mindsets. So we do have now World Environment Day sales, World Earth Day sales. And the idea is, okay, we will take a little beating on the margin, when we do have these discounts, but maybe it will help expose more consumers to our products. And maybe by that version of self-discovery, when they do purchase a product on a discount, maybe from then on they might be potentially converted or might just understand the why it's made in certain way or whatever. So I think that's something that I didn't want to do initially, but I have succumbed to doing, I guess. But other than that, I don't think there have been big, decisions in which we had to pick between profit and planet, where we, just said, yeah, we're going to go for profit. I think we haven't been there yet, but this is a small compromise that we had to make, which basically just meant that we'll take less margin when we do the sales in order to help incentivize more people to try our products.
Elizabeth Benson, do you would want to add anything on this question?
Yes, just something. Yes, so I think one of the biggest challenges that we faced, especially, and it was affected by how we did entry into the market, was that we imagined that a lot of people would be excited to use the technology in managing their waste and also just to get engaged in recycling. But we were in for a root shock, and I think most of the work has been to rather sensitize and build awareness and just tell people that it is possible to leverage technology in this actual sector. So the infrastructure within the sector was something that we had to first really truly understand to get our niche. So I remember when we came in, people easily mistook us for being for waste management, right? And everyone who wanted their waste collected was calling us. Everyone who wanted, hey, I'm this place, I want to do it. Everyone was scheduling it was for waste collections, but really we wanted to build a particular niche for recycling. So we just had to drive the narrative in and again and again, and I think we eventually got there. Something else that we perhaps struggled with as well was the aspect of social incentives. So, and this really came in when we wanted now to move beyond the space where we were piloting now to a bit into the region or maybe within the city. And we noticed that it was going to be so expensive to give incentives because you're also buying this material from the agents as well. But is that as we scale and move to other areas, we have to integrate the tech with the incentive. So it comes in one package, right? I don't know if I seem to be
Is it me or Benson? You're not audible anymore. Can you say something? Yeah, do you want to switch off your video till the
Mtaka,
time you're speaking and see if it improves?
can you hear me? Okay. All right. Let me try that. Okay. How about
Yeah,
now?
slightly better.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Now I understand. I'll reach out to internet service provider and log this complaint. But so ideally, we noticed that in order to scale what we're doing, you have to move as one package, right? So if you're moving into a space and tell them, hey, we're going to leverage this tech to get you more incentivized to get into recycling, there's no way you can just want to do it the traditional way where, we having a buyback center and people are, women, waste entrepreneurs can come and then we can buy their product. So we had to see the essence of investing further in value addition infrastructure and building more, even if it is small outlets of just adding value to the recyclable, so that then we're able to, sustain the marginal giving incentives. So I know we've been lucky to get into additional accelerators like the World Food Program is doing an accelerator right now, and we just applied. And our hope is that even as we scale beyond the current city, we have to move with a facility, set it up, put in the machinery. That's the only way we get to sustain. So it's a challenge for us, but it's a sad reality in doing a such enterprise and in wanting to really improve recycling culture and then promote circularity, we have to make sacrifice. So that means the margins are going to be very low, but we then build, the customer base and get people really looking towards our product. So yeah, I think the technology, the incentives, and also the confusion of us either doing waste management, generally or just recycling. So yeah, it's still exciting. The volumes are interesting. We are still building forward, but we're very aware that it's not going to be an easy journey. But we are looking forward to building into. We just actually hardly 2 years now. So if you can build into a decade, I'm sure we'll be having a different conversation. Otherwise, thank you.
Thanks, Benson. Elizabeth, do you want to add something over here?
Yeah, so for us, the scale-up journey has meant we need to onboard farmers, which in Kenya, the government pulls their TAs, those are the agricultural extension workers from the fields. So that means that as an organization, it's up to us to do the onboarding ourselves, train the farmers, and that's why we decided to set up our resource center so that the farmers can come there and see the standard agronomical practices for processing organic moringa. Then, of course, that's a cost to us, and we are doing it with just plowing back. And of course, with grants like this, it's such an honor and a great opportunity for us to be able to put much more other than the profits that we are getting from the business. We also are able to train them on smart farming at the farm. It's also spurred us to partner with universities locally and abroad for extension, and also for them to bring their technologies. Like we have partnered with University of California, Davis, where their department there is able to send us master's students to come and just transfer their technology both on drying, on spacing of moringa for the different yields, and it's a good opportunity. We're also able to ride on the same researchers as they're doing their either their doctorate or their masters to do research like on the finished product and figure out come up with different parameters for our different products. And it's also helped us to look for patient financing, because we get like the suppliers we have will pay us anywhere between 90 to 180 days, which is not easy for an entrepreneur to work with, because that means you cannot approach any bank for a loan, because you don't know when you'll get paid to be able to pay. And because you don't want sleepless nights, then you have to now keep looking for grant opportunities, patient capital, And sometimes you get, sometimes you don't, because anyway, for a very long time, moringa in this part of the world was unresearched. So you'd apply for grants, and people, it's like the product was unresearched until climate change knocked on the door, and people realized, my oh my, moringa does have an added advantage. Not only is it highly nutritious, but it's able to sequester 20 times more carbon than normal vegetation. So we started becoming relevant, and we are happy. As much as climate change is on the negative, for the longest time we were just bootstrapping as a business. So now to us, people are able to see the value of restoration, and we're becoming relevant on that front. So scale up is not an easy task, but we're continuously looking for ways to survive and to do what we need to do when we need to do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I am going to ask a question, which is more on wishful thinking, right? As companies, as circular enterprises, there are a lot of time you really wish a particular stakeholder would understand or could offer this to help your organization or help your business grow. So, who are these visual stakeholders, and what would you want them to take notice of you? And it can be like government with respect to policies. It can be, your MNCs who would become your whom you can become vendors to. So who are these, or even your suppliers? So what is your visual thinking with respect to collaboration or learning gap, or just stakeholders being part of your journey of entrepreneurship?
Okay, let me go, because that is one area we've been really vouching for. We've really wanted to partner with humanitarian organizations. I think, I believe all of us here have come across moringa in one way or another. And the health benefits are immense. So even when we do like fortification of porridge, we've done prototypes of porridge flours, we've done Insta flour, which we've not launched into the market. We've done soups. We're working with a baker to develop biscuits. So these are things that we wish we would be able to partner with humanitarian organizations to supply in those camps like Dadaab. We have one of the biggest camps in East Africa, which is in northern Kenya, Dadaab, where we can be able to supply these things. And mainly the challenges they ask, like I've worked to World Food Program around back in 2015, and they said, well, you need quantities. And as an entrepreneur, when you're told you need quantities, it means you need to have so many farmers growing it to be able to have the quantities to make biscuits for all the humanitarian camps in Africa. So getting partners that can be able to come on board, whether from India, Kenya, what we need is enough quantities to be able to do such healthy biscuits. And instead of using peanuts, which we are aware is high in aflatoxin, we could be fortifying with things like moringa, like spirulina, using stevia as an alternative to the sweetener. But of course, the humanitarian people need the energy, so maybe sugar is the only way to go for them. So this for me is my dream. It's like this dream which you're told, think of the biggest thing that you cannot even be able to do on your own. But yes, I will definitely to work with a humanitarian organization and develop products for the disadvantaged in the camps.
Khushbu, Shubham, Benson, anybody wants to answer, even Seher, what kind of visual thinking do you have for stakeholders to know about your organization or about your product and be accepting of it? Boy,
I
I'm
wish,
asking tough questions
yeah,
today.
that's a tough one for sure. I feel like, you know, how there is like this placement where all med students go do a placement in rural India. There should be a placement for all investors to spend a week or a month at the offices of these sustainable businesses trying to push the envelope on circularity and more, because they will just maybe be more sensitized towards the ground realities. So that would be my wishful thinking.
I think, I mean, this is honestly a very complex question, and like in my mind, I'm still thinking as to like what would be that wishful thinking. But like, if one thing that comes to my mind is like for just people to be open to try, especially corporates or like especially larger players who can make that impact. Because like I said earlier, also like since this is more to do with functionality, the room for exploring is very little because it's not it's a want, it's a very clear need that people have. So my wishful thinking will of course always be that there are more people open to just saying yes, like try it out, see it for yourself and then decide, kind of a thing. But yeah, this is the only thing that comes to my mind because other than that, it's a long list and I do not want to be here till like midnight or something.
Anybody else would like to add?
Yeah,
Yes,
I've been also just thinking about it. Like there are a lot of stakeholders, but by the end of the day, we need more customers and clients uh, who are, could be the early adopters on trying out these products. And as what Khushbu was also saying, one very important channel partner that we're looking also additionally is the designers, because we are the people who make a lot of raw materials, sustainable raw materials, which can be used by another industry, which can deliver it to the final end customer, since we are B2B. And uh, now, as engineers and scientists, we have made these materials. We need just the sprinkle of aesthetics from these designers who can curate some nice looking products, as what looks in the market. That's what sells after all, right? So that's our wishful thinking, to have some designers, bringing the designers community to try out our materials.
I remembered another one. I don't know if you know, I think it must be also in different countries, the multi-level marketing. So because of the trying to reduce the entry levels for our business, we've been thinking all these blended products that we are developing. We were approached by an Indian some years back to do multi-level marketing, but at that point, Moringa was not known in the country. So, and we felt we needed to just start it from the grassroots and help the community at that level, instead of like taking it, because multi-level marketing pushes a product by almost 150 or even 2 or 500 times more the cost. So it makes it unreachable for the local Kenyan or even in the East African region. But now we're starting to think it's not a bad idea. Yeah, we have, with partnering with some scientists in pharmacology or naturopathy, we can be able to develop pretty good products that can compete globally and do a good multi-level marketing approach. So that would really, really make life very, very nice. Yeah, something we've been thinking about of late.
any more takers for this question? Benson, a quick check. Are you able to hear us? And is your audio working? Okay, I'm not sure, so I'm going to move on to the next question.
Please.
With respect to, oh, Benson is here. Yes, Benson. Okay, technology brings challenges with itself. And on that note, I want to ask everyone a question. What kind of technologies are you leveraging in your own organizations, whether it is product development to manufacturing or to reach to your customers that you would want other people to know, I mean, other circular economy businesses to know as well?
Sorry, if you can just elaborate on the question. Do you mean the technologies for managing the products and uh,
Uh, s- so these can be this can be any kind of technology. It can be something that you have used in terms of manufacturing your own product or services. Anything that you have patented, anything that is your intellectual property, but uses technology in some way. Or it can be any of those ready to use off the shelf products, like the way we are using Hobilo right now for hosting this conference. So any kind of technologies that you have been using, or to like manage data or to manage traceability.
so honestly, we have tried a lot, in fact, especially for project management, uh, sorting out things and looking into Kaiban and other Jira and Asana and all these things to streamline our working. Uh, but we have found a lot of challenge, especially from the team, to use these platforms. So what we initially, like, everyone is very excited about these things, but eventually, it just fades away and people simply don't use it anymore. Uh, so like the best thing we have found, which is still working very well for us, is Excel for managing our data, for technology, for research, for clients, for sales, for CRM. Uh, and so like for CRM, like we got onto HubSpot for again maintaining these things. But then it means a lot of training on these people, especially if the person is a fresher. So that has been, technology also brings challenges, and with Excel everyone is very comfortable. So we so what we have concluded is that whatever the team is most comfortable with, we will simply use it, because at the end of the day, as a CEO, I can tell them, hey, this looks fancy, use this looks fancy, use this can solve all the problems. But the user should be able to make the decision, whoever is going to use that software or the technology platform. So Excel for us, so not for like so far.
Mhm. Yeah, so I think if you have a product company, Shopify is honestly amazing. Just coded our website on a Shopify template. So I highly recommend for anyone and everyone. And when we first started, they didn't even have like the GST and etc. embedded into an Indian ecosystem, but now they basically are pretty, user friendly for most countries. Canva to design anything and everything. Canva Magic is amazing as well, which is like leverages AI. Zoho for inventory management, Zoho Inventory, Zoho Books. We have the Zoho One plan. If you're a startup, they have a discount to start using it for your first year, which I highly recommend. I also use Zoho for automating reminders for payments on Zoho Books. Just less things for you to do. I think automate things as much as possible, since now we have the luxury to do so. We also use Zoho CRM for all of our lead generation and saving. But I do use good old Excel for KPIs, and we do that on a quarterly basis. And it's a very transparent metric, and the average of your 4 quarters leads to your increment every March. So I think that transparency is important as well. Yeah, I think those are the big tools that we use, and then just leveraging social media as much as you can. I know it can be, sometimes a little time intensive, but I guess it is still one of the most accessible forms of marketing. So even if that means, you commit to once a week or twice a week, starting off with something that's very achievable, but create one piece that you can then cross share on different platforms. I think is something that I recommend to everyone, so we could hear or learn about the amazing work that they're doing. So yeah, those are my quick suggestions.
Now I can think of a lot of things that we are using. So we also use Zoho, books, inventory, and all these things. Zoho is great. It's very user friendly, very affordable for startups as compared to a lot of other softwares which are available. And yeah, a very important and a free software which I really like, I should admit, is ChatGPT. And Teresa, we were talking about it for writing job descriptions and job roles in one of the workshops. Like how it adapts to the language of the user and then gives some quick fixes. That helps a lot in a lot of cases. And one more company which is really good for doing all the admin work is Razorpay and Razorpay services. So we do all our payrolls from there. They have a really interactive dashboard for managing the human resource, including time management, leave attendance, holidays, reimbursements. So all of that is streamlined in a very good way on Razorpay. So that's one more software I would want to recommend. Thanks.
So sorry, one more, Babblebot for interviews. They conduct AI interviews, so your first level of interviews, and you can filter by location, remuneration, availability, and then thereafter just meet and interview the ones that meet your metrics. So Babblebot is another really good one.
On that point, like if anyone has any recommendations for hiring, like LinkedIn is one thing, but LinkedIn is getting very limited also. But if anyone here is using any other platforms for hiring, for getting the applications, basically.
Actually, most of them of like everything that we've used has been covered. But Shubham, to your point, what we usually do is we have a lot of tie-ups with colleges. So like that has really helped us because that helps us like filter down exactly what we need, because the hiring cell of each university knows like the students really well, at least for like freshers for that matter. So then that allows us to have like a very limited or funnel down option of like what would really fit in our organization. But of course, for a senior level or like a mid level hire, uh, I know a lot of creative platforms that I can share with you. But for like formal hirings, I think LinkedIn has been working for us so far. LinkedIn Premium rather works much better when it comes to like looking to hire like mid or like senior level people. But yeah,
Okay.
literally all the softwares that you and Sahara mentioned have been like on our list as well, and they have been super helpful since day one. So I'm glad like we've always just a question like, is this the best that we're doing, or are we just trying to like find the easy way out? So I'm glad that there's some validation over here on using like the right tools and methods.
Yeah, I think there is a good endorsement. We should tell Zoho that you have got a lot of supporters.
That's true.
So Elizabeth and Benson, we would want to hear what kind of technologies are you using? Elizabeth, I know that you mentioned something in the comments, but I would really want you to come on the forum and share about the technologies that your organization.
So we're using Zoho, but before COVID we were on Sage, and I think Zoho is also a South African. I'm not sure, but during COVID, Sage just went like they just kaboom, just went under. It's like the organization, everybody fled. So we really had a hard time because we were still in business. So we got a local POS system that is really, I mean, they're really trying to do a good job. But when Zoho came on board, our accountant, who is quite tech savvy, introduced Zoho. So we use Zoho for our bulk and supermarket distribution. But when I listened to her, I realized, oh, maybe we are really underutilizing Zoho because we're just using it for the bulk sales, and there's a lot more she's mentioned. And I've asked you in the chat because now we've been talking to the local POS system, and because we want to have our whole value chain from the farm, right from the inputs and everything, the paying of workers and all of that interconnected until we sell. So the POS system doesn't have that, but they're working on it, and they're really trying to do a good job. They're called Uza Point. They are based in Kenya. So that is one of the technologies that we are concurrently using. And then we also, in our drying, we dry a lot of things. We dry hibiscus, we dry lemongrass, we dry ginger, we dry turmeric, we dry moringa, we dry stevia. So all these are, the moisture contents are different, the density of the leaves is different. So there was a hackathon, and we partnered with a student in a technology university, and we're trying to develop an app that can be able to, instead of the science behind it is for a local dryer would just go crush the leaves, and if they crackle like your crisp, then you know that the moisture content is perfect, and now you can take it out and go process it. But I believe that shouldn't be the case. In the 21st century, we should be able to have apps that are able to tell if you're drying the hibiscus calyx petal, how long should it, and an alert just comes to your phone to alert you that, hey, your hibiscus is ready. And that will not be the same time as drying a moringa leaf, or drying a stevia leaf, or drying a lemongrass leaf. So that is what we started. We got third place in that hackathon. It was a very small grant, and so we are now like in the initial stages, because these are students, they know their worth. So we're trying to get the whole app with that. The little money we got is not sufficient, but we've started on like the guidelines and everything that you need, and the IoT system, and integrating it with the phone and the local service provider, which is Safaricom. So that's where we are at. And then our dryer. 10 years in drying business, we have done everything. We have dried moringa, it turns yellow. Now we have the best moringa in the country, because we've just continuously just improved and improved. So the dryer we have now is quite high tech. It has humidity extractors, it has hydrators, it has pumps. It's a bit tech, but those are some of the things we would want now to automate, so that we know how do we ensure that the humidifiers are extracting enough humidity to ensure that the moringa does not mold and things like that. So we are at that tech level, and we are really trying. None of us is a tech. Me and my partner, who is also my husband, he's a chemist, I'm a nutritionist, but it's because of the challenges we've gone through over the years, and trying to deliver a product that is high quality. That's why we are where we are. So getting partners to actually be able to help us build something like this, and probably even patent it for being able now to sell it across the country and probably in the region, would be a great opportunity for us. Yes.
Thanks, Elizabeth. I have a last question for all of you. And this is more of a question of giving advice rather than rather than reflecting or contemplating. So my question to you is, if you have to give one suggestion or one advice to people who are interested in starting their own circular economy business, or any business that is associated with sustainability, from your own failures or own struggles, what advice would you give? And Daniel, please do add in your comments towards the end of this question.
I would say that you have to cultivate a lot of resilience. To be honest, I started Bare Necessities when I was like 24 years old or something, and had I known it would have been this hard, I probably would not have done it. But I would also say on the other side that with all of the interdisciplinary challenges our world is facing today, I think we need more social entrepreneurs ever, now more than ever before. So if you're even a little inclined, and if you think you can cultivate a little resilience and go through some of the really, because you have to be prepared for some really high highs, but some also honestly super, super low lows. And if you're up for that, I think social entrepreneurship is something that the world needs now more than ever.
Okay, I'm going to just pull people. Okay, Elizabeth, go for it.
I think for me, I would say, despite the difficult times we go through as entrepreneurs, and I would say social entrepreneurs, because we are working with communities and people. I think putting people at the heart of everything one does is so important, because it gives you the courage to dream, and dream crazy things, because as you're trying to solve one problem after another, you become more resilient, and you're able to come up with great ideas. Some of them, maybe because of financial constraints, you may never be able to actualize them, but all the same, dream and keep pushing. And as we say sometimes, not sometimes, but all the times, the universe, God will actually bring it to pass, because once you've about it, you're focusing on it, and you know that you need to solve this problem, because it's for the higher good of your business and for the people that you're serving. So as you're striving to serve humanity, you get backup. You'll always get backup. I'm a Christian, so I'll say God always will send backup opportunities. Even having won the circular economy is an opportunity for me to scale my business to another level, which I would not have had I not tried. And of course, with help from people, networks, being at the right place at the right time, and having that opportunity to have the courage to say, this is my dream and this is what I want to achieve, and not shying away from wanting to stand out and do the best that you can. And yeah, and that's why we are all here, because we are doing the very best we can with the spaces we are in. And I mean, it's amazing just being here, and congratulations to all of us. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can go next maybe. And definitely it's a very interesting time for especially aspiring entrepreneurs to enter into the field of circular economy type of business models, because there is a lot of funding opportunities which are available now, which was not available some years back. There is a lot of awareness about adopting circular economy processes, be it corporate, be it government. Of course, there's a long road ahead, uh, transitioning into a complete circular economy, but that's what the world needs after all, because we have limited resources on the planet. Though some entrepreneurs are looking for planet B, but that's not really the solution. And we need businesses who are able to think consciously about adopting these practices so that there is no waste. Like some years from now, it will be interesting when people question what is waste, because everything, a world where everything is reused, it's recycled, it goes back to the earth. And one more advice to the entrepreneurs who are already into startups is that working especially on the business model, because there are a lot of interesting ideas available. At the same time, it is important to have an alignment with the market also, so that there is a financial sustainability, because that's what will drive the engine. Otherwise, entrepreneurs often, they start to get demotivated, and then they don't have the patience to carry it forward when there is no fuel in the car to drive the road ahead. And we'll give an example of a very close friend, Ajinkya from PatCare. I think Seher and Ajinkya were sharing the same dais 2 days back at TEDx talk. So it's an example of the waste which people do not even talk about. So he works on sanitary pads, and a lot of people, when it comes to sanitary pads, in I think everywhere it is simply incinerated. So he came up with this idea of how it can be upcycled, and it can be disinfected rather than incinerated, because incineration also creates some other kind of pollution, or it's just burning the resources to ashes, right? And now what we do is that we take the disinfected sanitary pads from Ajinkya and convert it into paper, which goes back to making notebooks and diaries, which Ajinkya and his clients in the corporate uses it. And it's an example of tapping the waste products which are around us, which we have not thought about. So my third advice would be to look around. There are so many other opportunities beyond plastics also, right? To create a sustainable venture. So yeah, this is from my end. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I'll go next because I have to leave the call in 2 minutes. So I think because I'm also very organizing basically the replicator programs for Seed, but also CEC. So like I said in the beginning, that target especially this kind of group, like people who are interested in entrepreneurship and who are starting out. And I think what I have witnessed, or at least that is my impression, that the network for social entrepreneurship is very strong. So even though everyone is facing, I guess, added struggles to what other entrepreneurs are facing, I feel like the network that is there for social entrepreneurs is always very strong. Like we always have like a lot of interaction between participants, even after the workshop. People from more established companies like yourselves, they always are very keen to share their insights with participants. So I don't have the impression that there's so much of a competitive nature within this space, so that people are kind of safeguarding their ideas and don't want to share any of their secrets. But I feel like it's a very, very collaborative space and super nice people always. So I think, my advice would be to kind of take advantage of that and reach out to people. And there's always probably someone who can help you out or who has been through what you're going through. And I think that's, one of the advantages that you should, or not you, but people who are starting out should, take advantage of. And before I go, also a massive thank you for everyone, for iDobro for organizing this, and to all of the entrepreneurs who attended. I think this was very cool. And I think it's also very nice to see your faces and to hear about your businesses. And I hope we can do this definitely also as part of CC again, and kind of organize something like this and bring you together also across the two countries. I think it's a very nice idea. So thank you, and have a nice day. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Daniel. So Khushbu, I think we haven't heard from you.
Yes, I was
So
just about to
let's
go.
have your.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it quick because we're already at 8 o'clock. And also, I think everyone has shared all the pointers, to be honest. But I think the only one thing that I would want to say, which I truly believe in, is to have your own personal why behind why you want to have your startup or why you want your idea out there. Because in today's world and time, with all of the global connects, with market trends, being bombarded, people pushing you to have your own company or like to have your own startup, it's very easy to just be sort of fascinated by someone else's problem that they would want to solve, or like what someone else is doing. But if you deep down know why you're doing something, what you would want to solve, you will be able to stick to it for a longer time and to solve for it more in more creative manners because it's personal to you. So before starting, just to have that, connect with what you're trying to solve and why you want a startup out there is, I think, is very important. So even if it takes longer, spend the time with yourself, with people around, speak to them to know so that you're clear on the why. And then, that is not something that should ever be shaken in the journey. But yeah, that's it from my side.
Thank you, Khushbu. I think with this, we are done with this Power Pack session where all of you very, very gently shared a lot of pearls of wisdom. And thank you, Elizabeth and Benson, for joining from across across the world. And it was really lovely to hear insights about circular economy from Africa as well. With this, we are ending the session. Thank you, Seher, Shubham, Khushbu. As always, it is really wonderful to hear from all the entrepreneurs, whether from our cohort or Seher. I think I'm meeting you the second time, but it's always very lovely to hear your inputs. All of you are building very inspiring organizations or companies or products, and it's really nice to have to share screen space with all of you. And I hope to continue this association in more roundtables in 2024, 2025 as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to everyone and listening everyone's insight. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Have a lovely evening. It was lovely speaking with all of you guys again. And have a good 2024 ahead.